Hi, this is Aussie Mac Zone, episode 8. Welcome. It's the 6th of August 2013. My name's Glenn.
Hi, Jason here as well, and welcome all to episode 8 of Aussie Mac Zone.
And I'm Warlock. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hello, boys, and yes, thanks for joining us in here tonight. No Garth tonight, and Eric is still on extended leave without a note from his mother. But hopefully, they'll both be back fairly soon. Tonight on the show, news, got more news. We've got the competition, and we've also got tips. Well, there's a couple of tips. I saw a good couple of tips in there, and question from the listener. So there's heaps for us to get through tonight, and we might as well start by saying that, as you heard, the bandwidth is provided by Aussie Tech Heads. Hosting at aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. So go there if you want to grab a great little web host to host your little bits and pieces, and also IT help for you. So thanks, guys, and we'll hear about the competition for IT help for you a little bit later on. All right, you can check us out on Facebook, which is at facebook.com Aussie Tech Heads, and also on the youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. So with the YouTube, we need everyone just to go to YouTube, please. Go to the youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads and push subscribe. We're trying to get to the 100 limit, well, not the limit, but the 100 starting point, and then we want to try out this streaming live from YouTube. So go there. We've been concentrating on Facebook and downloads and all that sort of stuff. So, but now we want to concentrate on YouTube. So youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Subscribe. And hopefully we'll be coming to you live in YouTube pretty soon. How good will that be, eh? If you've got any feedback for us, it's feedback@aussiemaczone.com.au. And also, through the week, the aussiemaczone.com.au URL now works and now goes straight to the Aussie Mac Zone page, the Aussie Mac Zone section of the Aussie Tech Heads webpage. Whew, that's getting confusing, isn't it? But yeah, aussiemaczone.com.au. Go and have a look at that. You'll find the show notes. You'll find the latest episode video and a couple of other little presents in there that you might want to open up and get a look at. All right. So we've had the intros from the guys. Let's find out what's going on with the news. The news. Jason, what have you got? Where do you want to start tonight?
Start off with one, I think, Glenn, that has been around over the last couple of weeks around electrocution claims for people using USB power adapters for their iPhones, iPads, iPods, which is not really what you want. But look, I think a lot of that, it seems to be, it's around counterfeit and third-party USB charging adapters. But I guess the big story around that is Apple in looking at, the potential PR concerns around that, and that safety is its top priority. They're going to offer a replacement program. So anyone feels uncomfortable with their adapter, they'll replace it with an official unit for a discounted price of $10 if you bring the corresponding device into an Apple store. So if that does indeed relate to third-party devices, I guess that's probably a pretty good show on Apple's part to look at doing that.
Yeah, I think
Apple have got a good thing there where, you know how people complain that Apple is too controlling and they want to make all of the cables themselves and they want to make all the adapters themselves, and they're complaining with this new Lightning plug that you have to get a special agreement with Apple to be able to make the Lightning plug-in adapters and cables. You can see why they get a bit concerned with relying on people buying stuff third-party from eBay. Here's a $5 adapter that you don't want to pay $60 to Apple, or $15 adapter. And then things like this happen where people get electrocuted and die. They go, oh, bloody Apple, their products are not safe. And it turns out that it's got nothing to do with Apple, but it's these other third-party people who are using cheap parts and just trying to get the market, get all the money. Yeah, and Apple's the one who gets the blame for it all. It's nothing to do with them.
Well, it is. It's good. Like, good on them. It's big snaps to Apple for doing that, because they don't have to. It's not their products that are faulty, so they don't have to. But just while you're speaking about the little cheaps things, look, I bought a couple of these off eBay myself. They're not USB charge adapters. I don't know if you can see it in there. Just a 30-pin to Lightning adapter. So 30-pin to 8-pin adapter there. And so what I wanted to do is, because if you're following what I've been doing, I've been going to the gym working out, pumping iron, all that sort of stuff. But all the
We can tell.
oh, hey, all the treadmills and everything, they got the 30-pin plugs in them, and I've got the iPhone 5. So yeah, I wanted to get the adapter, but I have a sneaky suspicion that that's not going to push video and audio through itself. I think that's the limitation.
Yeah, if you don't have the official one, they'll might charge it up, but that's about the best you're going to get out
That's
of it.
about it, yeah. Well,
Just on that, Glenn.
Yes.
So obviously you can plug it in and listen to what you've got on your device. Are you using any apps or any exercise apps you're using to track your progress and that integrates with the machines?
no, well, not yet. I haven't actually plugged it into the machine yet because...
You haven't got that far. So first step's to get an adapter.
Yes, I've got the adapter. But why I haven't, I tried to plug it in this morning, but the reason why I haven't plugged it in is because it's for the particular machine. It sort of leaves the phone, the plug is like... It's like on a horizontal thing. So like if I was to plug the phone in, the phone sticks out of the machine. So you can see this on the video, but it's like that. So it's very
hanging off the lightning cable.
Yeah, that's right. But even if it was on the 30-pin cable, it's still hanging out horizontally. And like if you have a good enough bump, I suppose it's very like flimsy, I don't like the design of it. But anyway,
yeah. The gym I went to here had a couple of a couple of machines that would plug into it, and it just had a little tray there that you could put your thing on, and it had just a normal 30-pin cable. Nothing stiff that you would be jamming it into, so you could just place it there nicely. And if you had adapters or stuff, it wouldn't matter.
That's right. Well,
and that's why I can't go to the gym because it's only got 30-pin adapters in there. And having the iPhone 5, I'm non-compatible with the gym.
Well, thankfully that's one excuse that never crossed my mind.
Fault, bloody gyms with a program.
But that's a good one. I'll put that in the excuse book. But yeah, so look, I looked at the cords as well. I've looked up on eBay, but I think the same thing. So look, I've got a USB. They take USB, so I've just plugged in some podcasts on a USB, and I was away. I
think if you buy those cheap ones yourself from eBay, then you have to take the responsibility that if it goes, it's not Apple's fault that you got electrocuted, right?
Well, that's right. But this is not a charger, so I'm pretty happy. I'm not going to get zapped. But anyway, good on Apple for doing that. That's that goodwill for all, and for $10, geez. So are they going to replace it? So that means that they're going to keep the old one, and give you the other one, and probably just
bin and incinerate it. I'd say
get out the back,
send it back to hell,
crush it like an aluminium can under your heel. All right, so good stuff. So if you got a dodgy one off eBay, you want to get a good one, a proper one, head on down to the Apple Store.
When Tim Cook's feeling a bit cranky, he'll just get a sledgehammer out and start smashing the hell out of them.
Well, wouldn't it be like the Rolex watches or whatever? They'll take them all out and run a steamroller over them or something.
Yeah. Now, Warlock, tell me, is the developer center back up and running, or what's going on?
Wow.
What's an update with that?
It's still coming. The problem is this. I try and log into my account, and it says before you can do anything that you want to do, you have to read our new agreement and agree to it. And you click on the agreement, and it says, sorry, the agreement page is still coming. The status of the agreement page is down. So until they get the agreement page up there so you can read the agreement and agree to the agreement, all this other stuff is back up the iOS Dev Center, but you can't do anything there until you read the agreement and agree, and you can't because that page is down. Whereas all it is, I think, is just going to be a page of text that says, you're not going to hack our stuff anymore, you naughty people. Yeah, then we don't have to take our store down. But until they put that page up there, you can't agree to it. So. Is
it because the site was hacked, and it was hacked that badly that it is not up and running, or is it because they're just rebuilding it from the ground up to prevent future hacks, do you think?
Well, they must be. They said they are going to build it from the ground up, but you can see that it's still running web objects, which is extremely old technology that only Apple uses. Everyone's moved to like PHP and Ruby and stuff like this, which is much better and scales much better. And you don't have to take down your whole website just to update some new products, whereas you always have to with the Apple Store running off web objects. So if they had have done a proper complete upgrade, which is what they said they were doing, and brought them up to, the 20th century or 21st or 22nd or something, then they wouldn't have these problems, and it would be
well, that's what I expected. When they said a complete rebuild, you would think yeah, well, why not move off of web objects and just get on to, as you say, the PHP, SQL type of thing that everyone else is using.
Yeah, so let's hope that it's going to come back sooner rather than later. So you must be able to access it and do a couple of things. Well, I guess you can. Like, you can change the price of your apps and all that sort of stuff. Because
there's various bits and pieces, and the official line from Apple is remaining services will be restored by the end of this week. So they're obviously getting close.
Yeah,
we can be optimistic.
Yes,
that's right.
All right, and what else?
It won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Yes, that's right. It always does. Now, Apple releases new FaceTime Everyday ad. Jason, what's happening with that one?
It's the third in the series of ads, and if you've seen the latest iPhone ad on TV, you may not know it's an iPhone ad
right.
Until at the end, because it concentrates on the camera quality and aspects of the iPhone, and the iPhone is the most uploaded or most used camera on the on the internet. So a fair focus for Apple. And I guess a related story around that is with Nokia launching the Lumia 925. They've put an ad out, which I'm not sure if we've seen in Australia yet, but certainly in the US, that is around the same style as the Apple ad, and I guess directly focuses on its capabilities versus the iPhone, where it's got greater capability with its Carl Zeiss lens and higher megapixel.
So I don't. I don't know if I've.
They're putting up direct comparisons of, hey, here's a picture with an iPhone 5, here's a picture with the Lumia 925, and hey, as is better quality, especially in lower light, and that's where the iPhone in the past has outshone the other phones. That it's been a good all-rounder. That no matter what the light conditions, it's got pretty consistent performance. The pictures look pretty good, but then again, the iPhone's at the end of its cycle, I guess, and the big thing around, as well as fingerprint readers, is around an upgrade to the camera in the iPhone 5S, which is reported to have things like dual LED flash, more megapixels, and obviously some more refinement to both the optics and the processing software.
That's the problem these days. The operating systems are getting so mature. There's not really a heck of a lot that you can add to them. So they're left with competing on whose camera takes the best photos. My HTC One is only 4 megapixels, and they've got these Zoe things and ways that you can remove people out of the photo who's not supposed to be there. And Apple's got the best quality images, hands down. Everyone's trying to compete with that. And then you've got, like today, I follow Robert Scoble on Twitter, and he's in Sydney today taking photos with ES4 and the Moto X and going, which one's got the best pictures? Moto X has got the best pictures. So
the Moto X is pretty good from what I've seen. Yeah, and so
it's good for a mid-range sort of device, but it's nothing that's going to make it.
But when you go around the town going, oh, is this one better than this one? Do you have to be careful that they might, the picture, if you were to print them out, maybe there's a difference or whatever. But if they're on two different screens, the screen would also give you it could give you a variant as well.
Yeah, well, there's AMOLEDs and all different types of LED screens, so that's going to depend. The Moto X is AMOLED.
But
they're pushing that as that when you get notifications, it only lights up the middle of the screen.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was listening to Twit, and they were talking about it, and it sounds quite cool. Where Leo's got one, and he's saying, "Look, I can pull it out of my pocket, and it will show me the time and my notifications because it expects." That's what I want when I pull out of the pocket, but it's only this portion of the screen and it's in dim mode. So, look, again, it's always...
with Leo is he seems to flip-flop. One week he'll say, this is the best thing ever, and then a couple of weeks later, like, oh no, that old thing, I don't care about that anymore.
But I think it's good because it pushes all the others, and whilst the iPhone was a leader for a long time, I think it's healthy. You've got HTC, Motorola now, with Google ownership, and of course Samsung, they're all pushing each other. And so, I think that drives innovation, and we see quicker iterations. If Apple was still leading, they just slowly drip feed out and just do as much as they need to. because they're not going to release the whole lot at once. So I think it's really healthy. Yeah.
You've got to have competition, and Google and them are pushing them to do innovative and interesting things, and they don't want to. They don't want to sit on their laurels like they did back in the early Mac days when they had the best PC that was out, and then Bill Gates comes along and does something that was a bit hackney, but it worked, and then it was on everything, and then they took over. And if they don't have Google, well, they don't have Microsoft or anybody else pushing them that much, but they don't have Google pushing them to do this innovation, then I think they're going to be, possibly they're going to sit on their laurels again, and they don't end up innovating that much, and they'll start losing the race again.
I don't see.
I'm sure they've got some things on the shelf. I mean, Tim would walk down to the lab and say, okay, Johnny, what have we got here? And Johnny will go, oh, yes, well, I've been working on this.
Yeah. What do you got up your sleeve?
That's right.
I can
I imagine it's just like on James Bond with Q. Well, I'm glad you asked, Tim. Here's a little one we've been working on in the lab.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Well, I'm all for bloody getting a better quality camera and a better quality parts through everything. That's no dramas. But do you think people are really that anal about the quality of the picture off a phone? Like
tech people are who write the tech magazines and the tech websites.
Yeah, but
everybody else just wants the phone that works, it does the thing, and if it's hip and cool at the moment, then I'll get it.
Or are we heading?
I don't get that much into specs.
Are we going to head down the track that someday that that our phone in the pocket is going to be as good as the what are they, the DLSRs or DS whatever they are? The proper cameras.
DSLR,
the thing that they've been saying in a lot of podcasts is that the best camera is the one that you've got on you at the time. And the problem with the DSLRs is you're going to be hanging around your neck as a dead weight to carry around, and it's only going to be available when you're out actually looking for something. And when you're just walking around down the street and something happens, or your kids do something funny or something like that, then you want to have a phone, and if the one you've got is the iPhone or the HTC One or the Moto X, then that's the one you're going to use, and that's going to be the best one.
But that's right.
But it's as good as point and shoots now. They wouldn't, you wouldn't consider a point and shoot, I don't think, just for those casual type pictures. And look, in our household, we don't have any anymore. I mean, I've got a Nikon, and again, it's like I make a conscious decision. Then, we're going on a trip or going on holiday. Yep, I'll take it and take the whole bag of cameras and the camera and lenses and things. But 99% of the time, the phone, the camera I've got is the phone. So it's the iPhone, and it takes good pictures.
Yeah, I know that yes, the best camera is the one you got on you. But are we heading towards? Are the phone manufacturers trying to replace the DSLRs? Because otherwise, I don't think you can ever do that. Because otherwise, what are you going to do for all these fancy lenses? You look at the size of these lenses at the cricket; they're like a metre long.
You've got lens envy, Glenn.
Well, but you know what I mean.
How big was it?
A metre, easy.
Half the length of the football field, at least.
Oh, easy. I was tripping over it. Yeah, so,
I heard in the Caribbean they're even longer.
You got no idea. Now, all right, what else have we got? But yeah, so that's just my thing. I don't know, whatever the iPhone 5 camera is, yes, I'm happy with that. To tell you the honest truth, I wasn't happy with the iPad. I've got the iPad 2. I'm not happy really with that camera, but I never used that as a camera. So, who cares? And who prints out their photos now anyway? They're all on the TV or a computer, so they all look good little JPEGs anyway. So it doesn't really worry me. But
it's all for Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, but why not improve the speakers? Give them a bit more of a oomph. That's what I want. A bit louder speaker.
Get a good subwoofer in there.
What about pull-out headphones? They retract back up into the phone. Hey, now that's something, Johnny. All right, now.
Quick patent that one.
Yes, that would be a good one, I reckon. And they could act as the aerial at the same time because they're permanently attached. Oh, Johnny. Now, Apple asking internet radio providers to submit cover art for future use. Oh, what's going on with that? I've never really thought about iTunes and the internet radio, but they do. They do. I know they do. Apple has sent an email to streaming internet radio stations asking them to submit cover art for future use on iTunes and mobile devices. It appears that Apple will soon feature independent streaming music stations more prominently, including making them available in iOS and perhaps as early as iOS 7. So that's interesting.
Dun, dun, dun.
That is
well, what one would think that, because I mean, obviously, part of iOS 7 is iTunes radio, so it's looking to prepare for that, and it might just be a little bit more, I guess, widespread in the variety there. That it's not just radio stations of the iTunes collection. It might be some more maybe indie artists and some different variety there. So that looks promising. That obviously the more especially if they're bringing indie stuff and that, so it's not just going to be the normal top 40 stuff that commercial stations play. Even more reason to.
But is it just
listening to?
Is it just going to be restricted to music shows? Like, could be any shows. So we could get the.
Well, that's an interesting thing. We have the Aussie Mac Zone, the Aussie Tech Head
radio,
iTunes radio station, and have Aussie Mac Zone, Aussie Tech Heads.
Well, that's right. So wall to wall.
That could be there as well.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So I might have a look into that and see if we can. Oh, I don't know if we're able to be on there. I don't know. We'll find out. But speaking of that, just quickly, AussieTechRadio.com. If you want to get some more shows into your head, have a look at that. AussieTechRadio.com. 24/7 tech shows, wall to wall. Not from us, just Aussie Tech Heads and Aussie Mac Zone, but there's also other ones around. Tech Webcast, another Australian one. Geek Sphere TV from New Zealand. Boys of Tech. Two boys talking tech or something. Oh, there's 1,000 of them. I get confused. There's 1,000 of them. All right, and let's quickly do the last couple of stories. Apple's share of the tablet market sinks on lack of product launches in early 2013. I don't know. I think everyone's probably, don't know about sinking. It's probably getting saturated. What do you guys think?
I think by percentage, by units shipped, it's still fairly healthy, based on the fact that there hasn't been an iPad launch for nearly 12 months. That's probably to be expected. And yeah, as you say, Glenn, market saturation. I still think, and again, with just innovation and competition driving things, do we think that the iPad mini Retina is now back on track for a release this year? Are they going to have to do it with the Nexus 7?
Well,
at $229 US, and that's got definitely a Retina display. It's only 7 inches, and as opposed to 7.9. And whilst that doesn't sound much, I think in discussions I've heard when people have calculated, there's still 25% more screen real estate.
Okay.
Which, from a battery perspective, that has to be lit up. There's demand on the battery. That's really been all the discussion around why Apple wouldn't do it, because they wouldn't want to compromise on battery life.
Yeah.
And obviously a Retina screen would demand more battery, but are they going to have to be forced to really work on somehow getting it launched this year to really just stay relevant?
Yeah, well, I think what is happening is you got all these other ones coming out, all the Android ones, and they've got actually. It's not just the software that's being updated. It's the hardware as well. You've got the what are the chips in it? The near field chips, whatever they're called, and
NFC, yep.
What are they? Sorry, the NFC.
NFC.
They're the ones. They're the ones that got them in them. And now we're talking about fingerprints, which is talking about with the Apple ones, of course. But I mean, it just seems to me that the Android at the moment, they're bringing out new hardware, new physical functions to go with the software, and Apple sort of they're bringing out new dimensional products, but nothing really else is really happening. A lot of bells and whistles. But anyway. Look, we might just go quickly through the last couple, because there's a couple more. We'll just say what's one that looks good. There's been a little malware app into the App Store. Warlock, what do you know? Were you across that one?
Yeah, this guy Taleo Wang and his team of researchers at Georgia Tech have discovered a method for getting malicious iOS apps past Apple's App Store review process. Basically, they call it the Jekyll app, but basically what they do is create an app that has bugs in it on purpose, and when you normally use the app, you don't come across these bugs, but under certain conditions, these bugs will activate, and they cause exploits even down to the kernel level, which is pretty hardcore. and let you send SMS messages, go to websites, and retrieve people's information and such using this application. Of course, Apple pulled it once they'd been notified that these guys had got it through the approval process. But Apple said, we can't really be responsible for when people deliberately put bugs into the apps. We can't look for every single thing, but we're looking, for connect to madhacker.com or something like this, then they know that there's going to be a problem. But if they've got us just certain situations when the exploit code can run and it's going to cause a problem, then take over the device or what have you, that's a bit harder for them to track down.
Apple revises iTunes terms and conditions to allow educational iTunes account for children under 13. So they've got here they're going to allow children under the age of 13 to operate individual iTunes account created on the request of an approved educational institution, reported from Macworld. Previously, Apple restricted iTunes accounts to over 13, so that's something new there. Apple ebook price fixing decision could see return of direct links from Kindle and other apps to their stores.
That would be interesting for Office 2013 because they can't sell you subscription through there. But if this comes through and they have to do it with books, then maybe Apple's going to have to let them do it with a few other things as well. And you can do all your subscriptions and browsing and signing up to things through the application in the Apple Store.
Yes.
On the device.
Yes. And Jace, did you have anything to add with that? I just thought you were wanting to get in there. But you're cool?
I'm cool with that. Well, I can make a comment if you like. From what I've seen, looking more from the enterprise perspective as well with iOS 7, I guess up until this stage, the device has been seen as a one-to-one relationship between a user and a device, as opposed to a PC where, we're used to having logins or desktop machine having logins. So, maybe some of that stuff's coming in now that Apple are realizing that, especially with iPads, lots of members of the family are using it. So in the ecosystem for accounts and machines, we might see some of that potential segregation or some form of user accounts appearing in the future in iOS.
The new Nexus 7 with 4.3 Android does that. You can put in a limit.
I've seen that, yeah.
Kids can access certain apps and you can pick which apps they're allowed to use. So if they're using too much Angry Birds and not doing their homework, limit that one out of there and just let them use Google Docs or something on there until they finish it, and then you can release it again.
Oh, my kids have found this website on the computer, on the internet. I think it's a Flash website. It's called Friv or something, and it's just got all these games, like 500 games. You can't save nothing, but they just play it, and you try and get them to play their reading eggs and all this sort of stuff, and crazy times. But so that'd be good to start limiting things in some sort of way. Look, there's more show notes, but if you want to see the rest of them, rest of the news stories, just go to the AussieMaxZone.com.au, go to the show notes and check them out. There is only a couple more that we couldn't get to tonight because we got to move on. And thanks to ithelpforyou.com.au down there in Penrith Way, we've got tonight, or this week's listener question. And just before we get to that question, I must ask Warlock. Now, Warlock, you went down to IT Help For You down there in Penrith.
I did.
Yes.
And I went to meet the guys there and had a nice chat to him and his wife and his son. Running their store, and we had a bit of talk about computers and how long he's been into Apple computers, and gave me a bit of a tour of the store, which was quite nice, and we got a nice photo out the front, so that was awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, we might try and see if we can put that photo up on the webpage somewhere. I'll see if we can do that.
That wasn't part of the deal.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Now, what I was going to ask you,
I told you should have worn pants, Warlock.
Damn it.
We'll have to get Michael on one night because I've got questions already. I was gonna say, how long has he been into Apple, Warlock? Like, did he start with like Apple IIs and stuff like this? Or?
I think a few hundred years or so. Yeah.
Right.
He started with he started with the Apple IIs. He's just been all Apple ever since then, I think.
Yeah, right. Loyal as. Good to see. Yeah, well, I started with the 2, went to 2E. I bought my first computer was a 2C, and then I went away. I went to the Atari ST. Then I went to
Trader.
Yeah, I think after the Atari, I went to IBM, and yeah, but now I've got me Mac Mini, so it's great. That's what we record on.
I started off just at high school, we had all micro Bs, and they ended up networking those. And we also had a Apple IIe and a XD Sorcerer, which many people probably never heard of.
Never heard of
that ran
it.
on cartridges. And they went that was in year 7, and year 8 was when we could do computers. And by that stage, I'd already taught myself Microsoft Basic. So while everybody had to share 2 people to a micro B, I got to use the 2E by myself and just converted all of the teachers' examples to Apple Basic, and I got the whole computer myself. It was brilliant.
Oh, sweet. Apple Basic. I remember that. But anyway, let's get back to the question. Thanks to IT Help, the number 4 and the letter U.com.au. Now, if you're down there Penrith Way and you want to know how to network your house or whatever, you need some supplies to a router, or what are they called with the Apple, the Airport Extremes and the Airport Expresses and all this sort of stuff. You can link your one router to another router, and so you can spread your Wi-Fi around the house, all that sort of good stuff. You can do all that. Go down and ask them down there in the shop, or if you got something broken, need more RAM, go and ask them about it. They'll hook you in and hook you up. Now for this week's question, Kylie from Bondi Junction in Sydney, New South Wales, iPhone question. Sometimes my messages say delivered, and sometimes they say read. That's read. READ. When they say delivered, has the other person seen it? Interesting. Jason, has the other person seen it? Or what? Can you explain, please? Please explain.
Well, I guess in simple terms, through iMessage on the iPhone, because Apple are involved in, I guess, brokering the messages between the devices. They know what's happened. So the normal status will be that it will say delivered when it knows that it successfully got to the other device, and it will say read when the other person, naturally enough, has seen the message.
Right.
But some people don't want to know that they've read the message. So something you may have seen in emails as well, called read receipts, you can turn on and off. And if you don't want people
all off, I don't want people to know when I'm reading their stuff. Thank you very much.
I did. I hate that in email.
But you don't get
it.
You don't get it in Gmail. So I don't mind.
They're smart. That's why.
That's right. So, look, unless the person's disabled read receipts, and I think by default that they're on, you will see the status of that message. So, in simple terms, that's what it is. And
Sweet.
We put a little picture and that explanation up on the website in the show notes.
Yeah. Now, obviously,
whether it's blue or green will tell you if it's been sent to them via SMS or via iMessage. Because if it couldn't get through, it'll send it with the other one, and there's no way for Apple to know where the SMS actually got through, because that goes through the carrier.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Actually, I sort of found that out by default the other day. I'm getting close to my limit on the my phone, my little 1 gig paltry little size limit, and so I turned off the 3G, because I think I've only got like 9 meg or something to go. So I've turned off the 3G. I don't want any more 3G, and I couldn't send any SMSs. Like, I had a couple of pictures I wanted to send around. Wouldn't be. I'm scratching my head. Why is this going like this? Is it because I'm sending it to someone with a Apple iPhone 3G? Why? What's going on? And then for some reason I turned the 3G back on, and all the pictures went. So yeah. So I didn't realise that. I thought MMSs went over the carrier, as in the telephone thing. But no.
MMS, it's easy for me to say, is supported. As the way of sending pictures, and I guess the carriers like that they can get their 50 cents a message as opposed to 20 for a SMS.
So the only
so it should have worked, because it should, as Warlock was saying, fail back the same as if iMessage over the data network isn't working for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Through the messaging protocols, it should fail back to using SMS and MMS through the carrier.
Well, it was just failing back with the exclamation mark and not sent. Maybe it knew I was sending it to another iPhone, and it wanted to use, who knows? But anyway, that was my little thing. So I had to turn the carrier service back on. But also, obviously, all this red and green and all this sort of stuff doesn't work, and the read receipts don't work, I wouldn't imagine, if you're sending or receiving from a non-Apple phone. That'd be right, wouldn't it? Does anyone know that?
That would sound reasonable, yes.
Yeah, cool. All right. So there's a little picture and the answer once again, Kylie if you want to check out the Aussie Mac Zone show notes. Don't forget the YouTube. Subscribe to us on the YouTube, youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. There's the Facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and everything. There's everything, isn't there? There's everything. We're live every Tuesday night on aussietechheads.com.au/live. So join us. Join us in the lounge. Why not? Why not? All right, now
Pull up a chair.
Pull up the virtual chair, snuggle in, grab a nice little hot chocolate or something. Now, tips of the week. Now, here's a nice little tip or a little, I don't know, bit of hardware that is really good. This is my little tip of the week. Thanks, whoever put that in there. What that's called Tiles and the Tile app. So you probably would have seen these coming through. Well, these have been getting pushed around Facebook. I've seen ads for these all over the show on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have, but
it's been fairly heavily promoted at the moment. They look pretty cool.
Yeah. Not as heavily promoted as Tap King, but yeah, you get that. Now,
maybe second only to that, and Candy Crush.
That's right. Now, the Tiles and the Tile app. What these tiles are? You buy them, right? And look, they're not too big. They're small enough to stick onto the back of your iPhone, or you stick them in your wallet, or you stick them on your push bike, or something like that. Now, what happens is these little tiles. You get the app on your phone, and they talk. They talk to the phone. So if you lose your keys or you lose your wallet or something like that, you've got to be within 150 metre, well, it says 150 foot.
150 feet.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, because it runs over Bluetooth 4, so limited to the range of Bluetooth.
Yes.
But I think, Glenn, I'm not sure if it was a Kickstarter or some sort of crowdfunding process that kicked them off, but so they have a battery in them that's non-replaceable, but it's meant to be good for 12 months, and when it stops working, you throw it away and get some more. Yeah. But as you say, the idea is you go and stick it on all your bits and pieces that you don't want to lose or want to be able to find. And because similar to people are used to using Find My iPhone, you can track things in your house and around the place with with your phone. You can find your keys, find your iPad. Once the kids have taken it and hidden it somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, so, but, I suppose like you got to buy these little tiles. They're $19 US each, or you can get 10 for $170. But, I mean, you chuck them on anything. And like, there's an example here in this little blurb that someone's put into the show notes that you stick it on you can stick it on, say you stick it on your push bike or something, and your bike gets stolen. Well, obviously then it moves out of your little 10-foot or 150-foot comfort zone of Bluetooth. So, it's obviously you won't be able to detect where it is. But what happens is if other people have the Tile app on their phone or their the device, well, then they might walk past this bike with your tile on it. And so their phone will pick up, because you've got to put into your phone that tile's been stolen. They've walked past it on the bike, and then it's transmitted to their phone, which then transmits location to your phone. How good's that? Then you ring.
I thought that was pretty cool. So obviously all the tiles are ultimately going to a back-end server run by people that are providing the Tile app.
The FBI.
So that, maybe, or it's the whole Prism thing again.
Yeah, that's right. So
maybe the tiles have got microphones in them.
I'll have the NSA. I've lost me bike. Yes. Can you track it down for me? No worries.
But I thought that was really cool. So yeah, if you tag a tile as it being a lost or stolen device, that anyone else who's got the Tile app, it will broker the message from the tile through to the server. And that's obviously where all the processing's done, because the tile itself doesn't know that it's lost or stolen. That particular ID is tagged at the back-end server. So obviously the app just picks up anything that it knows is a tile, sends it back to the server that, if it's yours, it shows up on your phone. But if it's been tagged with that lost or stolen, it will go back to the owner and say, hey, it's at your next door neighbour's house. You might want to go and
go and pick me up.
You left it out the front of the pub again, didn't you, and walked home drunk?
I hope that he didn't put the tile on his wife. I mean,
that's right.
I find out where she got to.
Oh, that could be dangerous.
I found your wife. She was in my bed this morning.
Yeah. Well, what about someone else walking past it and they're actually using up their bandwidth to facilitate your need of finding your stuff? They must.
I can't imagine it's very bandwidth intensive.
Here's another thing: if you find somebody you like, just put it on the bottom of their shoe, and you can track them home.
Yeah, slap it on their back. All right. Now, Jason, you had a little tip or a tip app or recommendation.
Oh, I was almost wondering whether to put this into the listener question from Glenn around someone who was complaining today around the difficulties in dealing with PDFs.
Tell me about it. That's so hard.
I too had this problem, but then I saw the light and found the solution. So an app I have used for a couple of years is made by Smile Software, and there's two versions of it, PDF Pen and PDF Pen Pro. I've got PDF Pen Pro, and look, it pretty much allows you to do anything with a PDF. You can edit a PDF, so it lets you go in and actually change the words around, and especially if you had one that you were using for your own purposes and it had been created by someone else, or you didn't have the original copy anymore that you originally used to PDF it. You can amend it. You can export it into Word format if you wanted to share it with someone else. But even if you're just looking to fill in a form, I know that through our council, if you need to do bits and pieces like have extra bins for your green waste collection and that, you have to fill out a form. It lets you go in and it will allow you to, where there isn't even a field to put in text, create a field there so you can put in text. It allows you to put your signature on the form, and pretty much anything that you want to do with the PDF, it allows to happen, and it works very simply and very well. On the other cool thing it does is it will do OCR, so character recognition of text. If you have a PDF or a scan or whatever, it actually does OCR for you as well, which is pretty cool. So it's a fairly good little program, and available in the App Store.
Yes, and that's on the Mac, isn't it?
It is on the Mac.
Yeah, there's a lot of little PDF programs or apps for the iPhone and the iPad. But I don't know about you. Just recently, I've had this rush of people wanting me to fill in PDFs, and what's the solution? I've tried to upload it to Google. That didn't really work too well. I tried to upload it load it up into the Word. That didn't work too. Also, it did it, but it lost a lot of formatting and all this sort of stuff. That didn't work great. And then today I was trying to do yet another one, and it came up because I've been using this online service called PDF Escape Online. You upload your PDF, and then it will let you edit, add photos or pictures or whatever. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad if you trust uploading your PDFs to wherever, and you can edit it and save it, download it, whatever, print it, etc., etc. But this instance, I tried to upload it and it said, cannot open this PDF. I don't know whether it was security restrictions or what the hell it was. It was a PDF from the Victorian government, so who knows? But it was a publicly available document. They just wanted me to fill it in. Oh, I was doing my head in. And Jason came and said, why don't you have a look at this? And this does look pretty good. The PDF Pen. And it's not free, but it is in the App Store, in the Mac App Store, and it does look pretty good. I just looked up the cost of the Adobe. Now they're up to the Acrobat 11 Pro. Right, now this is obviously the duck's guts of PDF editing and PDF writing and so forth. Now, it's not going to happen, is it? It's $282. Now, that's just not going to happen.
Per month?
No.
I don't think you can buy anything from Adobe anymore, can you? You rent it.
Well, I've just looked up on that exactly, but I think this might be the only thing that you can buy outright, because everything else I've looked for, you can't. But this is $282. The Adobe Acrobat 11 Standard is $199. So, geez, entry level, you're coming in at $200. Like, give me a break. So, please. And
who wants to install more of that rubbish on their computer?
Yeah.
It'll get updated every second day.
Oh, doesn't that annoy you? Well, and it stuffed me Chrome that flash on my Chrome. I don't know, my Chrome just does not work. It's rubbish. But anyway, all right. Well, I think that's just about brought us to the end of the show. Don't forget, and also thanks to ithelpforyou.com.au, we are giving away $20 iTunes vouchers. So they've bought a couple and they've all packaged them up. They've sat them on their shelf out the back there, waiting to send them out. Just waiting to send them out to people in Australia who leave Aussie Mac Zone a review on iTunes. Nobody does. What are you doing? Don't you want a $20 gift voucher? Anyway, well, if you want one, you got to go to the Aussie Mac Zone, either the audio or the video vodcast, whatever you want, whichever one takes your fancy. Leave a review and we'll get back to you if you win. So listen to the show and we'll tell you if you won. But look, there's a person that won the other week. If you're still out there, Angel Spice, we're going to give you another week. If you don't contact us, we're going to put your card back on the pile. All right, because we can't.
Glenn will use it to buy a PDF pen.
Yeah, that's right. I'll use it myself. All right, so I'll put my own review up. So Angel Spice, I think that's who it was. Yeah, call me, email me on Glenn@AussieMacZone.com.au.
You're coming across desperate now, Glenn.
Yes, I know. I don't know.
Please, why won't you call me?
But all right, so just do that on the. Yeah, if you want a voucher, you know what to do. All right. So get sorted. Now, okay, good stuff. Now that is the end of the show. So you can find me at glenn@aussiemaczone.com.au or on the Twitter @AussieTechHeads. Jason, where can we find you at?
You can find me at jason@aussiemaczone.com.au or on the Twitter @JasonWormsley. That's Jason with a Y.
All right, and Warlock, where can people find you if they so wish to?
I'm the Warlocks everywhere. Warlock@aussiemaczone.com.au and at Warlock on Twitter. WAULOK.
Good stuff.
And sometimes loitering at the front of IT Help for you.
Yeah.
We'll get that picture up.
Harassing those guys.
Yes.
So do what Jason is. Go down and say good day to the guys down there at ithelpforyou.com.au and yeah, they're good guys. They'll look after you. All right, now, and also thanks to the hosting, aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. We're getting a new URL. That'll be out probably next week, so no more of this / business. Oh, it's driving me crazy. So, so that'll be out pretty soon. So that's about it. Don't forget the show notes if you want to review anything that we've said in the show. It's all on the webpage, aussiemaczone.com.au. That's about it, isn't it? I think so. All right, that's another great episode. Episode number 8. It's another end of another Tuesday night for us on the recording. So until next Tuesday, it's bye for now. See you, boys. See you later.
Bye.
See you next week.